like it was a good day today. Probably the biggest thing, you just get to that point where you try to get through it without having any injuries, and I think nothing major, so maybe a couple bruises and bumps, but typical football stuff. So that's the sigh of relief I know I give when it's all said and done and the spring's over, so allows us to move on to the next phase, and guys will get a few days here. We'll do some kind of spring exit interviews and just conversations just to make sure everyone understands their role, and then we move into 5 weeks of training. So the guys, I know, will get after it and understand and are excited about that next phase. So, but it was a great spring.
Durfee looked really good today. Would you agree?
Yeah, there's so much going on. Usually I end up watching the film, and that's when I really see it. But I'll just say in general, Zach was out for, about a week and a half, 2 weeks, was coming on strong. I think he got a chance to have some perspective and sit back. And I will say this week, I really saw him at another level. Practice on Monday in particular, he really, applying a lot of pressure. Seemed like he was always around the ball, especially on pass plays and around the quarterback. So I think he's just got a lot of the tools that we were hoping for in that edge position, and the things that we saw on film. I think he's starting to get used to the speed of the game and translating that over to this level and raising his game as well. And it's slowing down for him. There was some big hits that caught him by surprise, I think, midway through spring ball, and now he's ready for him and actually delivering some of those hits. So I'm excited for him.
We've seen Denzel and Jeremy make plays pretty much throughout spring. How much room might there be in that receiver room for newcomers like that to carve out some reps, and how deep, I guess, would you feel comfortable going in the rotation there? Yeah,
I think receiver is a little bit easier than most positions because we can personnel group our guys and get the reps, and Coach Grubb and the offensive staff always do a good job, and there's roles, and I love seeing those guys make plays because they continue to push even our top guys, and the growth and all of that just is a tip of the hat to them and how hard they're working, and it's paying off. So yeah, you're right, Jeremy and Denzel both, and I thought Giles Jackson had a great spring too. So excited for all those guys that maybe aren't the ones that are highlighted at the forefront and always at the first guys in the discussion, like a Rome and JP and Jalen, but excited for and Taj, but I'm excited for what they're doing.
You got had a couple of picks today, and it seems like they've gotten a lot better over the course of the spring. Who's one guy that you've just really seen a lot of growth from in that room? In the cornerback room.
Yeah, I think it's Elijah. Just today again, found the ball and his confidence. I think the word for him that I'm just most happy about would just be his consistency, and he's just been consistent. Not a lot of highs, not a lot of lows. Getting a pick is a high, but really, and you're never going to be perfect. But I just feel like there haven't been those big mistakes that pop up, and he's got the tools. Love his consistency. His demeanor has been consistent. His production on the field has been consistent. So I think he's one of the guys I'm really proud of. And injuries a year ago from spring to fall just really held him back. So glad to see him cut it loose and go out there and make another play again today.
With that room as a whole, that corner room, you got more guys coming in, but how do you feel about what you got kind of bubbling there in terms of the depth in that cornerback room right now? Yeah,
it's coming together. A guy like Devon Banks is still getting healthy and didn't do anything this spring, and so Javion Green, got thrown in the fire last year and continues to get better. He's a bigger presence out there. The two new guys, obviously Jabbar and Thaddeus, aggressive, confident, still learning our scheme, but have really adapted well. So it's coming together. There's more and more guys that we're feeling comfortable being out there. They have the guts. They have the ability. It's just a matter of continuing to build that trust, and I think that's such a key component that comes with continuity and then playing together in more and more snaps.
What did you see out of your running backs this spring? What's the growth that you saw from them?
Yeah, running back?
Yeah.
I think, CD is the guy that just stands out, I think, more than others. We we didn't see, Dylan coming in, and even Daniel, just kind of some dings there, so we didn't see a lot of them the second half of the spring. I think CD's just been consistent, so it's been good to see him have a spring unlike last year, and knowing what he did in the fall and how he was coming on strong at the end, you really are counting on him. We're trying to get Tybo a lot of carries, just getting him used to that thumping at this level. I think his ceiling is extremely high, and just try to push him along through the process, because we feel like he's got that. It's just a matter of when he's ready. And then I think Sam Adams, continue to have a good spring ball as well. So it's coming together. We're in a much different place this year than we were a year ago, when we didn't even know who we'd have back health-wise. On the field, still had some guys that we were trying to seek out. I would say one thing, Will Nixon, put on some weight. He got tripped up a time or two, but I just think he's been maybe one of the most improved guys, across all the skill positions, and has proven that, with the scrimmages and just constantly, just being ready to go each and every day. So that room is a lot more competitive, and I'm super proud of the way they're approaching it and attacking it.
Coach, the trick play to, well, maybe not trick play, but to Denzel Boston, the quick snap, how hard is it to work on that time?
That was an accident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's, that all of a sudden ended up in his hands, and so that means we got to work on some things yet, so looked good though, didn't it?
Was he supposed to get it before the play?
He's supposed to get, he's coming through there and stuff, so yeah. I didn't hear the exact play call, so unless they put something in on the sideline I don't know about. I didn't hear the play call, I just, I saw what happened, I saw Dylan's reaction, so I'm making a few assumptions along the way, but I didn't see that one in today's walkthrough, so, you can do some things like that, but I don't think we were prepping to do that for a spring game, so.
We asked Michael and Rome about this. I'll ask you as well. The guys have been open about wanting to win a national championship. They're not over the top about it, but they've verbalized it. And I'm just wondering how you feel about that talk. If you're cool with it, if you embrace it, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, I heard Mike's reaction, and honestly, it probably gets more talked about because it was a part of the unfinished business. I think, and some of the guys deciding to come back. That there was more out there that they wanted to accomplish and achieve. And when you talk championships, that's the ultimate goal. And if you don't have it as a realistic goal, you're never going to achieve it. So it's got to be something you're striving for. And I just focus on are you, and push the guys and challenge them and ask them, are you putting in the work that supports that, reaching that goal, and then you go really back to the process. And I think Mike alluded to that as well. I think it gets talked more about in this type of setting than it does even within our own walls of the team and the program. So, I'm okay with them understanding that that's what it is, but in the end, it's about us every single day having what we call a relentless pursuit of continuous improvement. And if we do that with the talent and the things, and you catch a couple breaks along the way and stay healthy, for the most part, I think that's where those things can happen.
Coach,
achieve success that maybe others didn't think you could.
Coach, you lost 3 interior offensive linemen, your 3 starters. The 3 guys that you've got there now, where would you place them to where you were a year ago?
Yeah, I think we're further ahead. I think last year in spring ball, we took a lot of sacks. And, one of those things, just takes time. I think the protection checks now, we're further ahead because of just second year in the system. But I think those guys are doing a good job in protection. You can still see run game wise, some of the seams aren't there like they were maybe at the end of the year, but that will just come with fall camp and the early part of the season. So you can't deny that guys like Jackson, Corey, Biney, that those guys are very good football players and were special to our success because they were. But I think these guys have played a lot of snaps, and I think they might be a little bit different. We don't have a Jackson that's quite that big, but the way they play might allow us to do other things and have other strengths in different ways. That we can tailor our offense around. So, and that's up to the offensive staff too, just to continue to work with, the intricacies of what, the strengths are of that group, and maybe a couple more of this concept versus that in the run game, or, pass protection when you got some pretty mobile guys, with Nate and Julius and Mateo and Guerin and all of those guys. And I think Parker Brailsford's done a nice job for the most part too. It was good to see him get out there and get some action.
Do you feel pretty confident with that top five? I know there's always going to be competition, but would it take quite a bit for one of those guys to be unseated, especially on the interior there?
Yeah, I think that's been the crew we've been rolling with, pretty consistently. It's not like they're so far ahead to where something, during the fall, a really good fall. I've seen, bigger changes that were unexpected, but I think they're doing the things that they need to do to keep to making that progress to where they're in those spots. And so they're going to be pushed by those guys that I mentioned, though, that are younger, that or haven't had that spot because those guys are hard workers, and they want it to. But I think those five have done a good job up to this point.
How do Troy and Roger kind of complement from a leadership perspective? Cause they seem like kind of similar guys, but the personalities are also a little bit different. So kind of how are they from a leadership perspective?
Troy and Roger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, it starts with their play, they're both, got super personalities. I love hanging and being around them, but they're not like these guys that just get out in front of the team and it's just, just telling everyone, not these like alpha male type guys from a leadership and screaming and hollering and yelling perspective. So I love the way they lead though, because they just get out there and they'll always do the work. They're talking within the room and they're bringing the guys along and they're leading the way that they see is best for, with their styles and personalities in particular. So I'm really pleased with what they're doing and how that's coming along.
All right, call it a day.
All right. Thank you, guys.
No defense?
Yeah, I think we got